Hello, and welcome back to Speak English Daily.
Hi everyone, we are very happy to see you here today.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Speak English Daily. I'm Anna, and as always, Mike is here with me.
Hey everyone, I'm really happy you're here because I have a confession. I made a very funny English mistake this week.
That's great, because mistakes help us learn. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our real-life English conversations. Every lesson is designed to help you understand the English that native speakers actually use every day, not just the English you find in textbooks.
And today's lesson is about one tiny phrase that seems simple but can completely change its meaning depending on the situation.
That's right. Today we're talking about work out, one of the most common phrasal verbs in English.
Here's what happened. A friend looked at me when I was worried about something and said, "Don't worry, it'll work out."
Sounds like a kind friend.
Well, I looked around and thought, where's the gym? I honestly believed he wanted me to exercise.
I can understand why. Many English learners hear the words work and out and immediately think about running, lifting weights, or going to the gym.
I was imagining my problem doing push-ups and lifting heavy dumbbells.
That would certainly be an interesting picture. But your friend wasn't talking about exercise at all. He was saying that everything would probably be okay in the end.
So the same two words can mean completely different things.
They certainly can, and that's exactly why today's lesson is so useful. Native speakers use work out in many different situations. Sometimes they're talking about exercise, sometimes they're talking about plans that become successful. Sometimes they're solving problems, sometimes they're discussing relationships, money, schedules, or everyday decisions.
Wow, that's a lot more than I expected.
It really is. Once you understand these different meanings, you'll hear work out everywhere.
I think that's why learners get confused. We learn one meaning first, and then suddenly we hear the same phrase in a completely different conversation.
That's a great point. Why do you think English learners often struggle with phrasal verbs like work out?
Maybe because we try to translate every word separately. We think work means one thing and out means another, so we expect the whole phrase to have one simple meaning.
Exactly. But phrasal verbs don't usually work that way. The meaning depends on the situation. That's why listening to the whole conversation is much more helpful than translating each individual word.
That explains why I've heard people say, "It'll work out," "It didn't work out," "We worked it out," and "Let's work something out." I always thought they all meant the same thing.
They sound similar, but each one has its own meaning. By the end of today's lesson, you'll know when people are talking about exercise, when they're talking about a solution, when they're discussing a plan, when they're describing a result, when something succeeds, when something fails, when they're trying to arrange something, and even when they're trying to calculate numbers.
That already makes me feel more confident.
Let's do a quick practice. Everyone listening, try to answer before Mike does.
I'll try not to embarrass myself.
Number 1, I work out every morning.
That's easy. It means exercise.
Correct. Number 2, I hope everything works out.
I think it means I hope everything has a good result.
Perfect. Number 3, let's work out the details.
That sounds like arranging or planning the small parts.
Exactly right. And number 4, can you work out the total?
That one means calculate the total.
Excellent. If you understood those 4 sentences, you're already discovering how flexible this little phrase really is. Now let's explore each meaning one by one so you can start using work out naturally in your own English conversations.
I already feel better because those 4 examples made much more sense than they did a few minutes ago.
That's a great start. Now let's slow down and look at the first meaning, because it's the one almost every English learner knows first.
The gym meaning.
Exactly. When someone says, I work out, they're usually talking about exercise.
So if my friend asks, "Do you work out?" he isn't asking whether I solve problems all day.
No, he's asking if you exercise regularly.
Good to know. I would have given a very strange answer.
Here's something important. Listen carefully to these two sentences. I work out every morning. I had a great workout this morning.
They sound almost the same, but they're used differently.
Right. In the first sentence, work out is a verb. It's the action of exercising. In the second sentence, work out is a noun. It's the exercise session itself.
So I can say, I work out before breakfast.
Perfect. And later, I can say, today's workout was difficult.
Exactly. That's how native speakers use it every day.
I think learners often put the words together all the time.
They do. Here's a very common mistake. Some people write, I work out every day.
That looks right to me. It isn't. When it's the action, you need two words. The correct sentence is, I work out every day.
So the action is two words.
Yes, but if you're talking about the exercise session, it's one word. Today's workout lasted an hour.
That's an easy rule to remember.
It really is. Let's look at different tenses because you'll hear them all the time.
Okay.
Present tense, I work out 3 times a week.
Past tense, I worked out yesterday.
Continuous tense, I'm working out right now.
That sounds like someone answering the phone while lifting weights.
Hopefully they finish their set first.
I have another question. Does working out always mean going to a gym?
Not at all. That's another misconception. You can work out almost anywhere.
Really?
Of course. Some people work out at a gym using machines and weights. Others work out at home with online videos. Some people go for a long walk every morning. Some enjoy running in the park, practicing yoga, or doing strength training in their garage.
So the location doesn't matter.
Exactly. The important idea is that you're exercising and staying active.
I've been thinking about starting a healthier routine.
That's wonderful. You don't need to spend 2 hours at a gym every day. Small habits often last longer than big promises.
I like that. Maybe I could begin by walking every morning.
That's an excellent idea. Walking gives you exercise, helps your fitness, and can improve your energy during the day.
Then maybe I could add some simple strength exercises later.
That's a smart plan. Building healthy habits step by step is usually easier than trying to change everything overnight.
I always admire people who exercise every single day.
Remember, consistency is more important than perfection. Even a short workout is better than doing nothing.
I needed to hear that.
Let's review a few useful words you'll hear with this meaning. Gym is the place where many people exercise. Routine is your regular schedule or habit. Fitness means your physical health. Healthy describes good habits. Active means you move your body regularly. Strength is physical power. And energy is how much power you have to do daily activities.
Those words usually appear together, don't they?
They do, and learning them together makes conversations easier to understand.
I think I'm ready for another challenge.
Great. Everyone listening, answer before Mike does. Situation 1. Yesterday, you went for a 5-kilometer run. What do you say?
I worked out yesterday.
Perfect. Situation 2. You finished an hour at the gym. You want to talk about the session.
It was a great workout.
Excellent. Situation 3. Someone asks if you exercise every weekend.
Yes, I work out every weekend.
Exactly. One last question for everyone listening. What kind of exercise do you enjoy? Tell us in the comments using the sentence, I work out. We'd love to read your answers. In the next part, we're going to leave the gym behind and discover why native speakers say things like, it'll work out, even when nobody is exercising.
I have a feeling this is the meaning I hear the most.
You're absolutely right. If you watch movies, listen to podcasts, or talk with native speakers, you'll hear this meaning almost every day.
So when someone says, it'll work out, they aren't giving me fitness advice.
Definitely not. They're talking about the future. They're saying they believe the situation will have a good outcome.
I noticed something interesting. They don't usually say, everything will definitely be successful.
That's because English speakers often prefer softer, more natural expressions. It'll work out sounds warm and encouraging. It gives hope without pretending that someone knows exactly what will happen.
So it's optimistic, but it's also realistic.
That's a perfect way to describe it. Imagine your friend has an important job interview tomorrow and feels nervous.
I could say, don't worry, it'll work out.
Exactly. You're offering encouragement, not making a promise.
I like that. It feels supportive.
Let's look at another expression. Suppose your interview is finished and a few days later you receive good news.
Then I can say, it worked out.
Yes, if you want to sound a little more specific, you can say, it worked out well.
So worked out well tells people the result was positive.
That's right. Maybe you got the job, maybe you found a great apartment, or maybe your vacation was even better than you expected.
Speaking of vacations, my family once planned a beach trip, but it rained every day.
Oh no, what happened?
We couldn't swim, but we found a beautiful little museum, tried local restaurants, and played board games together. By the end of the week, everyone was smiling.
Then you could honestly say things worked out.
Even though the original plan changed.
Exactly. Sometimes the best memories come from unexpected situations.
What about studying?
That's another common situation. Imagine you've been preparing for an English exam. You're worried because the test seems difficult, but after you finish, you receive a high score.
Then I could say, everything worked out.
Perfect.
I also hear people say, it didn't work out.
That's the opposite. It means the final result wasn't successful or the plan couldn't happen.
Like if I wanted to buy a certain car, but someone else bought it first.
Exactly. You could simply say, it didn't work out.
That sounds much gentler than saying, everything was a disaster.
Native speakers often choose softer language, especially when talking about disappointment. For example, someone might say, we wanted to open a small business, but it didn't work out.
Or we were looking for an apartment downtown, but it didn't work out because the rent was too expensive.
Both are very natural.
Can people use it for relationships too?
Very often. If two people stop dating, someone might quietly say, it didn't work out. There's no need to explain every detail.
That's a respectful way to talk about something personal.
Exactly. English often leaves space for privacy.
I've also heard it worked out for the best.
That's another wonderful expression. It means something seemed disappointing at first, but later you realized the final outcome was actually better.
Maybe I didn't get my first choice at university, but later I found an amazing opportunity somewhere else.
That's a perfect example. Looking back, you might say it worked out for the best.
I like that expression because it reminds us that we don't always know what the future will bring.
That's why these phrases are so common. They express hope, patience, and confidence without sounding too certain.
Let's learn a few useful words that often appear in these conversations. A successful result is one that goes well. An opportunity is a chance to do something good. If you're disappointed, something didn't happen the way you wanted. If you're hopeful, you believe good things may happen in the future. A decision is a choice you make, and an outcome is the final result of that choice.
Excellent summary. Now it's quiz time. Everyone listening, answer before Mike does. Situation 1. Your friend passes an important driving test after weeks of practice.
It worked out.
Correct. Situation 2. Your travel plans are canceled because of bad weather.
It didn't work out.
Exactly. Situation 3. You were nervous about learning English, but after months of practice, you can now have conversations with confidence.
Everything worked out.
Perfect. One last one. You were disappointed when you didn't buy your first choice of car, but a week later you found one that was newer, cheaper, and in better condition.
I definitely say it worked out for the best.
Beautiful. Now let's look at another meaning of workout, one that native speakers use whenever they're solving problems together rather than simply waiting to see what happens.
I like that because solving a problem feels different from simply hoping for a good result. Sometimes you don't want to wait and see what happens. You want to take action.
Exactly. That's when workout changes its meaning again. Instead of describing the final result, it describes the process of finding a solution together.
So if my friend and I disagree on something, I can say, we can work it out.
Perfect. That's one of the most common expressions you'll hear in everyday English. It simply means, we can solve this problem.
I notice it sounds calm. It doesn't feel like anyone is blaming the other person.
That's one reason native speakers use it so often. It encourages cooperation. You're saying, let's sit down, talk, and find a solution.
That reminds me of another phrase I often hear, let's work it out.
Exactly. The meaning is almost the same, but now you're inviting someone to solve the problem with you. Imagine two friends arguing over something small. Instead of walking away angry, one friend might say, let's work it out.
That sounds much healthier than arguing for another hour.
I agree. Now imagine those friends meet later, have a good discussion, and become friends again.
Then we can say they worked it out.
That's right. The disagreement is over because they found a solution together.
I've also heard people say they worked out their differences.
That's another excellent expression. Differences simply means the things people disagree about. When people work out their differences, they listen, communicate, and reach a compromise.
I like that word too. A compromise means both people give a little instead of expecting everything to go their own way.
Exactly. That's why this meaning of workout is so useful in daily life. It isn't only for big problems. You can use it for family discussions, friendships, work, or even small misunderstandings.
Before we go further, I have a grammar question.
Go ahead.
Sometimes I hear people say, work it out. Other times they say, work out the problem. Why are they different?
Great question. Here's the rule. If you're using a pronoun like it or them, put it between work and out.
So I should say, work it out.
Correct.
And work them out.
Exactly. Then this isn't natural. Work out it.
Right. Native speakers don't say that. Keep the pronoun in the middle. It's a small grammar point, but it makes your English sound much more natural.
Let's try some real situations. Imagine two coworkers both request the same day off, but the company can only approve one request.
They should talk to each other and work something out.
Perfect. Maybe one person changes their plans, or they agree to switch another day.
Here's another situation. A husband wants to spend the weekend at the beach, but his wife wants to visit the mountains.
Instead of arguing, they can work it out. Maybe they spend one day at the beach and another day hiking.
That's a good compromise.
Now imagine two neighbors disagree about where to park their cars.
They need to work out the problem before it becomes a bigger argument.
Exactly. A simple discussion can often resolve the situation.
What about customer service? Does this phrase work there too?
Absolutely. Imagine you ordered a jacket online, but the wrong size arrived. You call customer service, explain the problem, and the representative says, let's see if we can work something out.
That sounds friendly because they're trying to find a solution instead of immediately saying no.
Exactly. Now let's practice together. I'll describe a situation, and everyone listening should answer before Mike does.
Challenge accepted.
Your vacation hotel cancels your reservation 2 days before your trip.
Let's work something out.
Great. Your family can't decide where to eat dinner tonight.
We can work it out.
Excellent. Your office accidentally schedules 2 meetings for you at the same time.
We'll work out a new schedule.
Perfect. Last one. Your roommate likes loud music while you need a quiet place to study.
Let's work it out. Maybe we can agree on quiet hours so we're both happy.
That's exactly how native speakers think about this phrase. It's about communicating, finding a solution, and moving forward together. In the next part, you'll discover another everyday meaning of workout that appears whenever people talk about money, numbers, schedules, and planning.
Money, numbers, schedules. Now you're speaking my language. Well, maybe not money. I still don't enjoy paying bills.
Most people don't, but this is another meaning of workout that surprises many learners because it has nothing to do with exercise or solving an argument.
So what does it mean here?
Very often, it means to calculate, plan, or arrange something. Let's imagine we're eating at a restaurant. The meal is finished, and the server brings us the bill.
That's usually the moment everyone suddenly becomes very interested in their phone.
Exactly. Someone eventually says, "Let's work out the bill."
That means we calculate how much each person should pay.
Correct. If 4 friends share a meal, they might work out the total and divide it equally.
I could also say, let me work out the cost.
Perfect. That's a very natural sentence. Native speakers use it whenever they need to calculate an amount.
What about planning a vacation?
That's another great example. Before you travel, you might work out your budget.
So I decide how much money I can spend on hotels, food, transportation, and activities.
Exactly. You're making a financial plan before your trip begins.
I guess families do this every month, too.
They do. Many people work out their monthly budget so they know how much they can spend on groceries, rent, entertainment, and other expenses.
Speaking of rent, moving into a new apartment always involves lots of planning.
It certainly does. You may need to work out the rent, the moving date, and who pays for different services.
Weddings must involve this phrase all the time.
Absolutely. Couples often work out the guest list, the seating arrangement, the schedule for the day, and, of course, the budget.
That sounds like a lot of planning.
It is, but breaking everything into smaller details makes it easier.
I also hear people say, let's work out the details.
That's one of the most common expressions. It means the big decision has already been made, but the smaller arrangements still need attention.
Like deciding to meet a friend, but not knowing exactly where or when.
Exactly. You might say, "Let's work out a meeting time."
Or if several people are traveling together, let's work out the transportation.
Perfect. Everyone understands you're organizing the practical parts of the plan.
How is this different from figure out?
Good question. Sometimes both expressions are possible, but they often focus on different things. Figure out usually means to understand or discover an answer.
Like, I can't figure out why my computer is so slow.
Exactly. You're trying to understand the reason. But if you're planning tomorrow's meeting, let's work out the schedule sounds more natural because you're arranging something instead of discovering something.
So figure out is often about understanding, while work out is often about planning or calculating.
That's a helpful way to remember it.
Let's review some useful vocabulary. A budget is your financial plan. Calculate means finding the answer using numbers. The total is the final amount. An expense is money you spend. A schedule tells you when things happen. An arrangement is an organized plan. A detail is a small but important part, and an estimate is your best guess before you know the exact number.
Excellent. Now let's practice. Everyone listening, answer before Mike.
Here we go.
You're splitting a restaurant bill with 3 friends.
Let's work out the bill.
Great. You're organizing a business meeting for next Tuesday.
We need to work out a meeting time.
Perfect. Your family is planning a summer trip.
Let's work out our vacation budget.
Perfect. One more. You're organizing your monthly spending.
I need to work out my expenses.
Wonderful. Now that you've learned 4 meanings of work out, let's spend a little time sounding even more like a native speaker.
I like this part because sometimes my grammar is correct, but my sentence still sounds a little unusual.
That's exactly what we're going to fix. Native speakers use certain patterns again and again.
What's the first one?
It worked out for me.
So maybe I changed jobs and I'm happier now.
Exactly. You could say, the new job really worked out for me.
How about the new schedule didn't work out for us?
Perfect. Maybe the meeting time was impossible for your whole team.
I also hear everything worked out perfectly.
Yes, that's a wonderful phrase, when every part of a plan is successful.
But life isn't always perfect.
That's true, which is why you'll also hear, it didn't work out as planned.
I like that expression because it doesn't sound dramatic.
Right. Maybe your picnic was canceled because of rain, but you still enjoyed the day indoors.
Then I might say, it didn't work out as planned.
Exactly. And when someone is worried, native speakers often say, I hope everything works out.
That's much warmer than giving guarantees.
It shows encouragement and hope.
I also like things worked out in the end.
That's a beautiful expression because it reminds us that difficult situations sometimes have happy endings.
Earlier we learned, let's work something out.
Right. And another useful question is, can we work something out? You might ask that when you're trying to reach an agreement with a customer service representative or a landlord.
Before we finish, let's compare a few confusing words.
Good idea. If your television is broken, you simply say, it doesn't work.
Not, it doesn't work out.
Correct. If you're trying to understand a mystery, you figure it out.
If you're organizing tomorrow's meeting, you work out the schedule.
And if you're talking about the final result of a situation, you might say, it turned out well.
So, turn out focuses on the final outcome.
Exactly.
Time for a speed quiz.
I'll read a sentence and you fix it. Ready?
Ready.
I work out every morning.
I work out every morning.
We can work out it.
We can work it out.
My phone doesn't work out.
My phone doesn't work.
Let's figure out tomorrow's meeting schedule.
That's understandable, but let's work out tomorrow's meeting schedule sounds more natural.
Excellent! You're beginning to notice the patterns that native speakers use automatically. Paying attention to these small differences will make your conversations sound smoother, more natural, and much more fluent. In our final part, Anna and Mike will put every meaning of work out into one realistic conversation so you can hear how native speakers switch between them naturally. So, Mike, after everything we've talked about today, let's see how many different meanings of workout can appear in one ordinary weekend.
I already know this won't be an ordinary weekend.
Probably not. Real life has a funny way of giving us plenty of examples.
Mine certainly did. Saturday started with a promise to myself. I wanted to work out before breakfast because I'd been sitting at my desk too much during the week.
That's a healthy habit. Did you make it to the gym?
I changed my mind at the last minute. Instead, I went for a run around the neighborhood. It was shorter than I planned, but I still felt much more energetic afterward.
That's what matters. You don't always need a long workout. Staying active is more important than making everything perfect.
I wish the rest of my day had been that simple. As soon as I opened my laptop, I noticed my work schedule had completely changed.
Let me guess, 2 meetings at the same time?
Exactly. At first, I thought the whole day was ruined, but my manager and I talked for a few minutes and worked out a new schedule that suited everyone.
That's a perfect example of arranging something together.
After work, I met 3 friends for dinner. Everything was going well until the bill arrived.
Ah, the moment everyone suddenly becomes very quiet.
You know it. One person ordered dessert, another ordered drinks, and nobody could remember the prices.
So what happened?
One friend took out a calculator, worked out the total, divided the bill by 4, and everyone agreed it was fair.
Problem solved in less than a minute.
Exactly. Then I thought the weekend would finally become peaceful.
But I'm guessing it didn't.
Not quite. On Sunday, my family planned a short trip to the lake. We packed the car, bought snacks, and were ready to leave when my sister checked the weather forecast.
Let me guess. Rain.
Heavy rain for the entire afternoon.
So the original plan didn't work out.
No, but instead of staying home disappointed, we worked out another idea. We drove to a nearby town, visited a science museum, found a wonderful little cafe, and spent hours talking and laughing.
Sometimes the backup plan becomes the better memory.
That's exactly what happened.
My weekend had a few surprises too. A close friend called because she had a job interview on Monday morning.
Was she nervous?
Very. She kept saying, "What if I don't answer the questions well?"
What did you tell her?
I reminded her that she'd prepared for weeks. Then I smiled and said, "Take a deep breath. It'll work out."
That's such a natural thing to say.
The best part is that she called me the next afternoon with great news.
She got the job?
She did. She laughed and said, "I guess everything worked out after all."
I love hearing stories like that.
Me too. They remind us that we don't always know the ending when we're in the middle of a difficult situation.
Speaking of difficult situations, one of my neighbors asked for some advice this weekend.
What happened?
He and his roommate had been arguing about cleaning the apartment. Both of them believed they were doing more work than the other.
That's a common disagreement.
I suggested making a simple weekly cleaning schedule so each person knew their responsibilities.
Did it help?
It did. They sat down, talked calmly, worked out their differences, and even joked about how a small problem had become such a big argument.
That's another great reminder that good communication often leads to a good solution.
You know what's interesting? At the beginning of today's lesson, I thought workout was mostly about exercise.
And now you've used it to talk about exercising, arranging a schedule, calculating a restaurant bill, changing travel plans, encouraging a friend before a job interview, and helping people solve a disagreement.
That's why context is so important. The situation tells you which meaning the speaker intends.
Exactly. Instead of memorizing one definition, try to connect each meaning to a real-life situation. That's how native speakers learn language naturally.
Before we say goodbye, let's quickly remember a few key words from today's lesson. Exercise keeps us healthy. A solution helps fix a problem. We calculate numbers when we're finding a total. We arrange plans and schedules. A successful outcome is the result we hope for. A disagreement is when people have different opinions. A budget helps us manage money, and an outcome is the final result of any situation.
Now we'd love to hear from you. What's one situation in your life that didn't work out at first, but worked out in the end? Tell us in the comments using today's expressions.
And remember, don't feel discouraged if English seems difficult sometimes. Every conversation you have, every mistake you correct, and every new phrase you learn brings you one step closer to speaking naturally.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed this conversation, please like the video, subscribe to Speak English Daily, and share this lesson with someone who's learning English too.
We can't wait to see you in our next conversation.
Until then, keep practicing every day and your English will work out just fine.
Bye, everyone.